Hello and welcome back again. This is my response to Chris Mutsvangwa accusing Tendai Biti of having a meeting with the U.S. ambassador in South Africa. In, in what he says, the agenda of the meeting was to try and get the U.S. to remember to put to put sanctions on Zimbabwe because of the land issues and things like that.
The president of America facing the prospect of having to renew the executive sanctions against Zimbabwe about this time of the year. You understand? A lot of excitement starts emanating from opposition in Zimbabwe. And I don't know whether I have the news. Do you have the news day today? You can see the opposition, Mr. Biti. Yeah. He is now starting to make comments about title deeds, about Zimbabwe. And yesterday we know for certain that they convened a meeting in South Africa, at the US Embassy in South Africa. All in an effort at trying to whip up emotions about title deeds and the land in Zimbabwe, so that somehow the oversight, which they believe is an oversight by Trump, when he singled out and called out South Africa, it can be corrected so that Zimbabwe somehow must be found in the level of the presence of America. They just want Zimbabwe on the yoke. They just want Zimbabwe to become the attention of the American president, gratuitously and unnecessarily. Why? Because they believe that if America can do something about Zimbabwe, it can speed up the prospect of them getting to power, sneaking through the back door of foreign support rather than through the front door of electoral politics in Zimbabwe. So these are Zimbabweans who are trying to stir up a situation between Washington and Harare.
I do not know if it's true, and I would call on this gentleman, if he actually did it or not. He must come clear if he did it or he didn't. But they obviously have a history of doing things like that, of aligning with Western powers for support, calling on the West to impose sanctions or to keep the sanctions in place. To the country of Zimbabwe, which the sanctions are said to be targeting individuals, not the country at large. But at the end of the day, it ends up affecting everybody else. And I do not agree with this ideology. I can support the opposition politics and say, of course, let everybody participate. If opposition politics is very important, it's what holds the ruling power accountable in what the decisions that they make and the actions that they make. But going to the Western powers and asking them, having conversations with them, meetings with them, it's absolutely ridiculous. I do not agree with this ideology, and the MDCs and the triple Cs have been always known for doing this. Look, the Western powers do not have our interest at heart. Whatever conversation that they have behind closed doors, I do not support the fact that they keep on going to them and calling for their help and whatsoever. I do not agree with it. These people, which the United States of America has shown that they have no interest in supporting us, but whatever makes them benefit, whatever they benefit the most is what they do. So I completely would call upon opposition politics to stop sleeping with the enemy. These people do not have our interest at heart. If these people, if our opposition politicians keep on going to them and being acting like as if they are puppets to the West, then they do not serve the interest of the people. They must uh, learn to be themselves and stand for what they believe in, which is the liberation of black people and the advancement of our own countries, not try and bring in Western influence into Africa. they are funded and all these things. I get the idea that maybe they need financial support, but that is wrong. You cannot betray your own people. It ends up looking as if you are doing this for your selfish reasons. So that you can get to power. It's no longer about the people. You cannot keep on calling for sanctions that they have destroyed the lives of the people that you claim to serve. What is the point in doing this? Um, on the other hand, also we also have to call upon leadership in Africa to be fair and gentle and be tolerant of the opposition, because sometimes uh, the opposition will end up leaning towards the West for support because they see they're being treated with violence. They're being met with strong violence from the ruling powers, which end up making them having no choice but to align with the West so that the West can add their voices and put these sanctions in place so that the ruling powers can behave. I'm telling you, if the West was not being involved in our politics, we would have been far worse, because I do not understand this ideology of the ruling some of them liberation movements which keep on using violence, keeping themselves in power, which is absolutely insane. And if we sanitize our politics, if opposition politics is given a stage and let them do whatever they want, they have a constitutional right to do whatever they want. If they are welcome, if they keep on going to the West, then we can raise the questions to them and ask, look, this is not for the interest of the country. This is not the interest for the interest of Africa. The West does not have Africa's interest at heart. This has been absolutely clear. You have seen with Donald Trump's actions towards South Africa of late. You can tell that if they do not benefit, or if it's not, there's a certain agenda which does not favor the people of Africa, which does not favor the black people, which they are always trying to push in going to the West as the opposition. They are literally promoting neo-colonialism. We ought to ask ourselves, what conversation are they having behind closed doors? What promises are they giving to these Western powers that are trying to support them? Are they gonna give them access to resources when they get to power? Probably, because we have seen of late that the West, if they are supporting you with anything, be it financial or military or anything, they want something from you. So what is these opposition parties promising the West? So it simply means they are betraying us as Africans. We do not support these ideologies. Let us be pro-African before we try and lean to the West and be puppets to the West.